If you run a fashion business, whether it's tailoring, ready to wear, or a full clothing line, you've probably asked yourself, am I charging enough? Or what is the right profit margin in fashion? Today, we're diving deep into profit margin in fashion, what is considered normal in the industry, how to calculate yours, and most importantly, how to increase it without losing your customers. This is going to be a complete masterclass, so grab your notebook because by the end of this video, you will not only understand profit margins but also know the exact steps to build a more profitable fashion business. My name is Ajilam. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is profit margin? Profit margin is simply the percentage of revenue that you keep as profit after deducting all costs. For example, if you sell a dress for $100 and it costs you $60 to make, including fabric, labor, electricity, packaging, and other expenses, your profit is $40. That means your profit margin is 40%. Now, why does this matter? It matters because without knowing your margins, you're just guessing. And in business, guessing means losing money. Fashion is already competitive, so understanding profit margin is what separates profitable brands from those constantly struggling. So what is considered a normal profit margin in fashion industry varies. Fast fashion brands often operate with margins between 4% and 13% net profit because they rely on massive volume. Luxury brands, on the other hand, can achieve 60 to 80% gross margins because customers are paying for exclusivity, brand prestige, and design. Now, independent designers and small fashion businesses usually fall somewhere in between 30 to 50% gross margin in order to survive and grow. So if your fashion business is sitting at around 20 to 30%, you're not failing, but there's definitely room for you to grow. Now, let's clear up a big confusion here. Gross profit margin versus net profit margin. Gross profit is what is left after you subtract direct costs like fabric, zippers, buttons, and labor, while net profit, however, is what is left after you subtract everything else like rent, staff salaries, marketing, transportation, even the trade you use. Many tailors and small fashion businesses confuse these two, and that is why you think they are making money, but in reality, they are just breaking even. If you want a sustainable business, always focus on net profit margin, not just gross. A 60% gross margin can shrink to a 10% net margin after expenses if you're not careful. Now, let's do a simple calculation together. Make sure you write this down. Selling price of your product, SP, minus cost of goods sold is equals to gross profit. Now, gross profit plus selling price multiplied by 100 is equals to gross profit margin in percentage. For example, you sell a kit dress for 25,000 naira, the fabric costs 10,000, accessories like zippers and lining cost 2,000, labor, which is your time or staff time, cost 5,000 naira. That means your COGS, which is cost of goods sold, is equals to 17,000. Now, your gross profit is 8,000. Now, divide that by 25,000 and you get 32% gross profit margin. Then subtract overhead costs, let's say electricity 2,000, packaging 500, marketing 1,000. That leaves you with just 4,500 net profit. Now, net profit margin is 4,500 divided by 25,000, which will give you 18% profit margin. This calculation should be done for every product in your line. That is how you know which item is truly making money, and the one that is just keeping you busy, you also know. Now, let's move into the most important part, which is how to increase your profit margin. And there are two ways to do that. Number one is by reducing your cost without lowering your quality. Now, in fashion, your reputation lives or die depending on the quality that you have. Customers can forgive a late delivery sometimes, but they will never forgive poor finishing, weak stitching, or fabric that fades after 2 washes. So the question is, how do you lower cost but keep that premium look? Here is the truth. It's not about buying cheaper materials. It's about working smarter. In order to reduce costs, you need to streamline your production. If your production process is slow and unorganized, you're losing money. So you need to create a workflow system by training your staff to specialize. One person does cutting, another handles stitching, another handles finishing. Then avoid unnecessary redesigning because it will waste fabric, time, and labor. Remember to efficiently cut your cost without touching the quality of your product. Another secret here is to negotiate with your supplier. Don't just accept the first price they give you. Buy in bulk if possible, and then build relationships with your suppliers so you can get loyalty discounts from them. Compare at least 3 different vendors before paying. When I started, I used to buy fabrics in tiny quantities. That alone drained my profit. But when I shifted to buying rows instead of buying yards, I saved almost 20% per meter. That's the power of negotiation. Another point to note is to optimize your fabric usage. One of the biggest money drains is fabric wastage. If you're not planning your cutting layouts properly, you will literally throw money into the dustbin. Rather, you can use digital pattern making tools. You can also train your tailors on efficient cutting and then repurpose your leftover fabric for accessories like scrunchies, belts, or kitwear details. That way, you will not only save fabric, but you also create mini products you can sell for extra profits. Another way to increase your profit margin is by making your product to have a perceived value. Now, what is a perceived value? It's simply how valuable your product looks in the eyes of your customers. It's not always about the actual cost of your fabric or materials, it's about what your brand represents and how customers feel when they wear it. Now, people don't just buy clothes, they buy status, they buy confidence and comfort, uniqueness and identity. That is why increasing your perceived value is one of the keys to selling at premium prices without constantly justifying yourself. Now, let me tell you one of my secret ways of making my product to have a perceived value, and that is using limited edition and exclusivity for all my products. When your product is scarce, it will increase the value of that product. If people think your design will always be available, they hesitate, but if they know it's a limited edition piece, they will act fast. Luxury brands have used this for years and they make customers feel lucky to own one of their products. Even if you're a small brand, you can apply this by releasing limited drops, number your pieces or create collections that are only available for a short time. Perceived value also rises when customers notice the little things like neat finishing, unique buttons, strong zippers, branded labels. Sometimes these small details make your clothes look double the price. Customers don't always understand fabric language or stitching techniques, but they notice how your product makes them feel. Now, the polish is what convinces them that they are buying quality. One of my offline students that is into kidswear increased our profit margin from 20% to 45% just by introducing a signature style and then packaging dresses in branded boxes. Customers gladly pay her more because they felt it was a premium experience. So yes, profit margin is not only about cost, it's about positioning and your brand perceived value. Okay, there's a 5-step action plan you can start today. Number 1, calculate your current profit margin for every product. Number 2, identify your top 3 most profitable items. Number 3, eliminate or reprice low margin products. Then number 4, optimize your cost by reviewing suppliers and cutting waste. Then reposition your brand to attract clients who can pay more. If you do this consistently, your business will move from struggling to sustainable and then to scalable. In conclusion, a normal profit margin in fashion depends on your niche. Fast fashion runs lower, luxury runs higher, and independent designers should aim for at least 30 to 50% profit margin. But remember, margins are not fixed. They can always be improved with smarter pricing, cost management, and branding. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a fellow fashion entrepreneur. I want to hear from you. What's your own current profit margin and what strategy will you use to increase that after watching this video? Drop your answer in the comments. I will read every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next one.